Hi, hello everybody and welcome to a new video lecture on the digital transformation of the world. Today I'm gonna talk about the war industry or military industry, whatever you wanna call it. When we think of it, you may think that military industry is not something new, and you are right and wrong depending on how we look at it. War has existed since the dawn of humankind. We have always had fights for control on certain resources, being it land, being it some natural resources, wherever. However, at the same time, military is one of the most advanced industries and one of the industries that develops more technology. If we think about it, many of the technologies that we use in our day-to-day life are coming from military developments. If we think about the GPS, TCP/IP networks, the internet, all of these were technologies developed for military purposes that later were moved and used in our civilian way of life. Also, when we think about military, we should think about what is it. So, military industry, being it in the form of traditional weaponry, so that is what I'm going to talk in this first video. It is weapons used to physically destroy physical targets. Or when we think of cybersecurity, disinformation, etc., we are talking not about terrorism, not about self-defense. We are talking about spying, about economic control, social control, and diplomatic manipulation. We are talking about power. Edward Snowden explains that pretty well in his book Permanent Record, which I highly encourage you to read. Although he talks about mass surveillance programs, it can be applied to traditional war. So, of course, cybersecurity, cyber war, enables us to a more subtle way of achieving the same goal, which is power, demonstrating power, but in a form that is more subtle yet more powerful today, and that has less cost in terms of political power. However, physical war is probably the most brutal way of demonstrating power. So today we are going to talk about the new technologies, the new weapons, advancements in weaponry that we are developing. Let's talk about some of the new weapons that are in development, or some of them already developed. In terms of aircraft technology, what we are developing now and we'll see in the coming years are very long-range bombers, stealth bombers, and also a new generation of aircraft fighters that are supersonic, has long range, and most important, are equipped with new weapons like laser weapons, right? So the same that you see in Star Wars, that exists today, as we will see later. Another type of aircraft technology expected for some of them for this decade and some of them for the next decade are hypersonic reconnaissance aircraft, and also unmanned aerial vehicles, so what we can call drones, controlled from aircraft carriers and launched from aircraft carriers that can refuel in the air and have some strike capability to targets. Also, we are developing new type of helicopters which are faster, has longer range and higher maneuverability than existing helicopters. And in terms of the weapons that we are going to equip, we are developing hypersonic weapons. It is, let's say, missiles or bullets able to run to speeds up to Mach 20. It is 20 times the speed of sound, so something like 21,000 kilometers per hour. So imagine the impact of these technologies in terms of rapid deployment and rapid attack of, for example, nuclear warheads anywhere in the world. So it means that we can launch a targeted nuclear attack with nuclear warheads, nuclear missiles from anywhere to anywhere in the world in less than an hour. In terms of naval technology, what we are seeing is a new generation of stealth-guided missile destroyers, and that may be equipped with laser weapons. In this slide, it says in the future may include laser weapons and railguns. The reality is today, as we will see later, we already have, it is the US military already has carriers, ships with laser and electromagnetic railguns weapons. Also, there is development in new generation of nuclear submarines. And as I was talking about, when we think about advanced weapon technology, what we are seeing more and more often is developments in laser weaponry. The USS Ponce ship is already equipped with one of these, as you will see in a moment, and also electromagnetic railguns. When we think about laser weapons, that's extremely important and powerful. It means concentrating a lot of light, so a lot of temperature. It basically destroys things through very high temperature that is very targeted. That's a laser concentration of light. And it travels at the speed of light. So imagine the impact of this kind of weapons. Let's see now a video demonstrating the capabilities of a laser weapon technology.
Surface CO, what's the I think they're going to be doing that. Okay, just come back away from 5-1 or they're going to illuminate down there today.
Last but not least, in terms of weaponry, electromagnetic railguns are in development, and there has been a lot of investment onto that. And it basically is a rail with an electromagnetic field, very powerful, so it can propel a bullet. So basically, a solid metal bullet with no explosive or whatsoever on it, but it can launch it to speeds up to 6 or 7 times the speed of sound. It is something around 7,000 kilometers per hour. Of course, when you launch a projectile that weighs something like 4 to 8 kilograms at 7,000 kilometers per hour, the amount of kinetic energy it has is terrible. So the impact of this kind of bullet can cause a lot of damage. So it exists today. It consumes a lot of energy. That is one of the main challenges on it. It consumes a lot of electricity to create a powerful enough electromagnetic field. But it is interesting to see that kind of technology. So let's see a video that explains and demonstrates this type of weaponry.
This is the US military's most powerful cannon, the electromagnetic railgun, which can shoot up to 100 nautical miles at Mach 7.5 and impacting the target at Mach 5, using only energy as its propellant. The high-velocity projectile will destroy land, sea and air targets purely from its kinetic energy, rather than with conventional explosive warheads. So what is a railgun? Well, the EM railgun launcher is a long-range weapon that fires projectiles using electricity instead of chemical propellants like gunpowder. Magnetic fields created by high electrical currents accelerate a sliding metal conductor or armature between two rails to launch projectiles at 4,500 miles per hour. Basically, it shoots a big solid metal projectile at very high speeds at vast distances and does damage using kinetic energy, only using electricity to shoot. The railgun works by storing power for several seconds, generated from an external source, like a ship. After the weapon is charged with some 32 megajoules of energy, its capacitors send an electrical pulse down two long rails, one negatively charged and one positively charged, generating an electromagnetic field that fires the projectile along the two rails at up to Mach 7. Using extreme speed, the warhead impacts with high kinetic energy, ripping a hole through whatever it was aimed at. The 25-pound projectile is a non-explosive bullet, like a big dart, inside an aluminium alloy casing or sabot, that falls away after the projectile leaves the barrel. The greatest advantage of an EM railgun on a naval vessel over traditional explosive round weapons is the safety aspect, as no propellant is required to fire the projectile, and no explosive rounds are stored in the ship's magazine. Railguns have been around a long time in sci-fi TV shows and movies. The most recent I can think of is from the TV show The Expanse, where all the big military spaceships all use railguns, and in the 2009 movie Transformers 2, a naval vessel uses a railgun to shoot a transformer off the pyramid. But the EM railgun has two major complications. The weapon takes an enormous amount of power to fire, and it literally tears itself apart with use. The railgun has already been in development and testing for over a decade, with total cost exceeding $500 million. In its current form, the railgun simply requires too much power for widespread use. The problem is, the only ships that will be able to generate the gargantuan 25 megawatts of power required to fire the railgun are the Zumwalt class destroyers, which will use Rolls-Royce turbine generators to produce as much as 78 megawatts of power for the ship. But only 3 of these technologically advanced warships will be produced. A bigger problem is that the railgun will shred its internal components to bits if it is fired enough. You can see parts of the rails themselves erupting from the weapon as plasma when it is fired. The projectile is leaving at incredibly high velocities and it accelerates down the barrel. The contact between the sabot and the rails simply erodes the gun itself. The other short-term solution is to develop a railgun that uses less power. An EM railgun that could fire a projectile at 2,500 miles per hour instead of 4,600 miles per hour and hit a target at 50 nautical miles instead of 100 nautical miles would still be incredibly useful, especially if the Navy could mount the weapon on existing warships. A less powerful railgun still has all the advantages of being cheaper to fire and removing dangerous explosives from a ship. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
And last but not least, what we'll see coming is Space Wars. This project was planned for this year or last year, so something in the 2020s, for this decade. However, it's a project that has been cancelled. Anyhow, it showcases where we are going. It was a project driven by Boeing that planned to create a space carriers, to say, able to deploy objects in low Earth orbit like satellites or any other kind of low Earth orbit element at least once a day, and at the same time be able to respond to hostile enemy actions. It is to attack. So, like for example, launching missiles from the space. This project has been cancelled, as I was saying, last year, but it showcases where we are going. And if you want to learn more about the new type of weaponry that we are developing, there is a fantastic book called Army of Known, written by a guy that was in the US military, Paul Scharrer, and he talked about the autonomous weapons, the future of war, and a potential future war. I'm talking about physical weaponry, physical war, where the weaponry is able to take their own decisions. So using artificial intelligence in weaponry to make them autonomous. So to discuss about it, I want to finish by recommending you to watch a video. It's called Slaughterbots, about the new advanced weaponry using artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Customer pilots directed almost 3,000 precision strikes last year. We're super proud of it. It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors. And just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They used to say guns don't kill people. People do. Well, people don't. They get emotional, disobey orders, aim high. Let's watch the weapons make the decisions. Now, trust me, these were all bad guys. Now that is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped. Now, I said this was big. Why? Because we are thinking big. Watch. A $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city. The bad half. Nuclear is obsolete. Take out your entire enemy, virtually risk-free. Just characterize him, release the swarm, and rest easy. These are available today. We have a distribution network taking orders from military, law enforcement, and specialist clients.
The nation is still recovering from yesterday's incident, which officials are describing as some kind of automated attack, which killed 11 U.S. senators at the Capitol building.
They flew in from everywhere but attacked just one side of the aisle. It was chaos. People were screaming.
You can see high windows, very small, precisely punctured to gain entry to the building.
What did you do for the victim?
I just did what I could for him. Things weren't even interested in me. They're just buzzing.
Government sources admit the intelligence community has no idea who perpetrated the attack, nor whether it was a state, group, or even a single individual.
So if we can't defend ourselves, then we strike back.
We are investing very heavily
in classified defense projects.
We make it our deterrent like our nuclear deterrent. We stockpile in the millions, the billions.
At key facilities, the White House, the New York Stock Exchange, Wall Street.
Safe in their homes.
Well, we wish we had boots on the ground in every community in this country, but we don't. So our instructions
Ollie?
and our suggestions are to stay in touch with
Ollie, oh, hi. Hi, Ollie, honey. How's Edinburgh today? How are all your studies going, huh?
Good. Great.
Oh, great. Hey, aren't we doing a video call today?
I'm kind of with people, so.
Oh, well, come on, Oliver, put her on.
Oh no, it's not like that. No, wait.
Oh, well, listen, I see some photos here with somebody, and I can see lots of likes, and what's that all about? Oh, wait a minute, here, and on your
Mom, she's on the spy stuff in the military.
What? What is this video right here? Oh, no, I'm not going to click on that.
It's just this human rights thing about oppression or whatever.
Honey, you're not going into politics, are you? I mean, no protest march.
Safe here, just like you said it would be.
Heavy traffic approaching the A720 this morning due to police.
Police are not saying this morning what prompted the alert.
Claim relaxing firearm legislation would be useless against the so-called slaughter bots.
Is to stay away from crowds. When indoors, keep windows covered with shutters.
Protect your family. Stay inside.
Can you hear me? Oliver, can you hear me? Listen to me.
I can hear it.
Authorities are still struggling to make sense of an attack on university campuses worldwide, which targeted some students and not others. The search for a motive is apparently turning to social media, and a video shared by the victims exposing corruption at the high.
But it's far from surprising. The weapons took away the expense, danger, and risk of waging war. And now we can't afford to challenge anyone, really. It's not even the smallest fringe group or a crank.
Who could have done this?
Anyone.
Dumb weapons drop where you point them. Smart weapons consume data. When you can find your enemy using data, even by a hashtag, you can target an evil ideology right where it starts.
This short film is more than just speculation. It shows the results of integrating and miniaturizing technologies that we already have. I'm Stuart Russell, a professor of computer science at Berkeley. I've worked in AI for more than 35 years. Its potential to benefit humanity is enormous, even in defense. But allowing machines to choose to kill humans will be devastating to our security and freedom. Thousands of my fellow researchers agree. We have an opportunity to prevent the future you just saw, but the window to act is closing fast.